everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk. I am your host, John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about The Nice Guys and its brand new Second Sight 4K Blu-ray that just came out. But before we get into that 4K Blu-ray review, I always like to give a quick film review, and today is no different. So if you don't want to know anything about the film The Nice Guys, and you're just here for that 4K Blu-ray review, you guys can skip ahead to that right now. So back in 2016, Shane Black co-wrote and directed The Nice Guys. And this is right in Shane Black's wheelhouse. This is the guy who also wrote Lethal Weapon. And it's very funny because this does definitely feel like, a spiritual successor to Lethal Weapon. It's a buddy action comedy. These guys aren't cops, but they're private investigators. Or at least, Russell Crowe, not quite a PI yet, but he's got the better moral compass in comparison to like Ryan Gosling's character, who is a private investigator, but he's also, he's a little shady, he's a little bit sleazy, but it's a job for him at this point. His life itself isn't going as planned. He's lost his wife, he's trying to raise his daughter, he's a raging alcoholic, and this movie just happens to be a great noir film as well as being a great action buddy comedy. There's so much layers to this story, and I think only Shane Black is the kind of guy that can bring a movie like this to the forefront. Shane Black is one of those guys who's always been appreciated. He pops up in Predator. He directed The Predator, which is like considered one of the worst ones out there. I'm not a really big fan of it myself. And when I saw this movie, I was like, yeah, Shane Black's back. We're going to get more great Shane Black stories because this does feel like also Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, very similar to that. He just knows how to make great buddy comedies. And then this one came along, and it's so colorful. They really got the 1970s right. Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe have great chemistry. Like I said, this noir story involving, it kind of starts off very simple. Like, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling don't realize they're kind of wrapped up in the exact same case involving a porn star, this girl, Amelia, who's played by Margaret Qualley, by the way, a young Margaret Qualley, because this is even before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which a lot of people, that's when she first went on the map. But now, Academy Award nominated Margaret Qualley is in this movie at a young age. I mean, this movie's now almost 10 years old, if you can believe that. I remember seeing this in theaters, and I just loved it. This is the kind of movie that just, speaks to me. It's funny. The action is great. I love it when movies take place. One thing lately is a lot of movies are going back in time to, the 1980s, and it just feels like people are cosplaying in the 1980s. This movie takes place in the 1970s, so it's a period piece, but it feels accurate. These do feel like people from the 1970s, not like people that are just dressing up to look like people from the 1970s. And that's really the key. They can't feel like they're cosplaying. You have to really get the sets right. You have to make sure you get the clothes right. And Shane Black and company absolutely nailed that with this. It's produced by Joel Silver, the same guy who produced Lethal Weapon. So it's just a lot of great people in the same mixing pot that worked for Lethal Weapon. But this one, it's this unique entity. Like I said, that noir story. We start in one place, and there's a lot of twists and turns throughout. Honestly, it was very confusing for me the first time I watched it. Makes a lot of sense on repeat viewings, and of course, you know what's coming. It still works, though. The mystery still works throughout the entire film. There's just some big laughs throughout the entire thing. Ryan Gosling, he really is one of our great actors. I think a lot of people, a lot like Brad Pitt, kind of give him too much shit because he's a very good-looking guy, which makes sense, but the man is talented. He can be a kind of plug-and-play kind of guy in a bunch of different genres. He could be funny, he could be serious, he could do musicals, he can do it all. Russell Crowe, he was one of our great action stars and great actors of the late 90s, early 2000s, kind of fell off, but he's great in this movie as well. Again, he plays the heavy. He's a great tough guy, and it works here. He's got to learn to have a little bit more heart, but he's got a great moral compass to begin with at the beginning of this movie, and it all works so well throughout this film. And again, it's shot beautifully. The music is great throughout. Kim Basinger still looks absolutely stunning in this movie. She's just great throughout. Again, Keith David pops up in a small little role in this movie. He's always good as well. This movie checks a ton of different boxes for me. I was surprised. This movie had a $50 million budget and only made $62 million at the box office. This is just one of those mid-budget kind of films that were coming out in the 2010s that just got crushed by superhero films. And it's a shame because this is a movie that would have came out 10 years earlier or 10 years later. I think it would have been even more successful. Just kind of came out at the wrong time when people weren't looking for these types of movies. And it's a shame because, again, this is a fantastic film. So even if you don't want to check out this 4K Blu-ray that we're going to talk about right now, I can recommend the film very highly.
Let me. It's not the smart idea.
What? March!
Well, I have the Second Sight standard edition of the Nice Guys. Every Second Sight release I bought has been the standard edition just because, I love those collector sets. They're absolutely beautiful. They're just a little bit out of my price range for one film. I like to review as many movies as I can, so sometimes I got to make the tough decision, go with the $27 4K Blu-ray right here. And originally, I was going to actually get the Warner Brothers 4K Blu-ray to replace my Warner Brothers Blu-ray that I got right here. And it's funny, I went inside here, just thought this would be a little funny for you guys. Looked at the receipt. I bought this February 15, 2017, the same day I bought Hell or High Water on Blu-ray and X-Men Apocalypse Steelbook. So 8 years ago, that's when I grabbed this Warner Brothers Blu-ray. And this Warner Brothers Blu-ray is the one that I compared to the 4K Blu-ray. I don't have the Warner Brothers 4K that came out a couple months ago, but from what I understand, that's just basically an upscaled version of the previous 2K scan. It has a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, even though the box says Dolby Atmos, so that just feels like a very lazy, let's get the release out there kind of thing, which Warner Brothers does a lot. Just complete cash grab stuff, which is weird because Warner Brothers does do some fantastic transfers, but they really were lazy when it comes to the Nice Guys. And then this Second Sight Nice Guys 4K Blu-ray release was going to have a brand new scan and a brand new Dolby Atmos done by Second Sight. So, of course, that was the version that I wanted. And, again, I can't compare it to the 4K Blu-ray from Warner Brothers, so we just kind of have to take some liberties there. I compared it to the previously released Blu-ray that I did have. When you come inside, this is a one-disc set. They fit all of your extras on that one disc. And the previous Blu-ray only had 2 extras. That was it, and that's exactly what ended up on the Warner Brothers 4K Blu-ray as well, are those 2 extras, which is a making of. Another, kind of looking at the movie. Combine those 2 things, 11 minutes. That's all the extras are in the previously released Blu-ray. Now, those 11-minute extras, they do carry over to the brand new Second Sight 4K Blu-ray, which, of course, now features plenty of brand new extras, including a new audio commentary track with the writers, one of them being Shane Black, a new interview with Shane Black, plenty of new interviews, so many new interviews. If you're somebody who's into interviews and wanting to find out the whole entire production of this movie, you're going to be so happy. Second Sight went all out with this, which is awesome. If you're an extras junkie like myself, this is exactly what you want. And, Warner Brothers went the complete lazy route, where here, they left no stone unturned. Would I have liked a brand new making of documentaries? Sure, just because of the... I love the documentaries. I just love them being edited together. I love the look of them. Feels like I'm watching a movie while learning about a movie. It's just something I absolutely love. Would have liked that. Didn't get that. Doesn't necessarily need to be there. But hey, they gave us so much. And then, of course, the visuals and audio. How do we feel about that? Jumping up to a brand new Dolby Atmos track is really good. The DTS HD Master Audio that was on the Blu-ray isn't bad. There's nothing really too wrong with it, mainly because this is a more modern film and the technology used isn't bad. So, it's not the world's biggest jump to Dolby Atmos, but my God, the Dolby Atmos track is really good. There's a lot of action in this movie, and you're actually going to be able to hear that all around you, bullets flying by your head. Exactly what you would expect from a modern Dolby Atmos track is in this movie, and I really did appreciate that. Everything comes in crisp and clear. Never had to adjust my volume, so everything was pretty much perfect about this Dolby Atmos track. The music itself, again, everything is just mixed very, very well. I can't say it's the world's greatest Dolby Atmos track, but it's still a very, 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 very good one, 9 out of 10 range Dolby Atmos track. I was very impressed with it. Again, the DTS HD isn't that bad, so it's when you listen to that and then jump to the Dolby Atmos track, you might not see the world's biggest jump, but I think that's just because of the technology of the time and it being just a little bit better than if this movie was actually made in the 1970s. And then the visuals. You get HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and the visuals, to me, best visuals I've seen in 2025, bar none. And even if you compare it to that previously released Blu-ray, the colors. This is a very, very, very colorful movie, so I had a hunch this would translate very well to 4K Blu-ray if done right. My only concern was this movie isn't filmed that long ago, so I'm how are they going to make this look even better than what I thought was already a good-looking movie? And they nailed it. The deep blacks are stunning. You have the bars on the top and bottom of your screen, and sometimes, depending on the movie, it'll be a little bit gray, but just because of the source material and everything like that. While on this, it's black bars, and if it's nighttime outside, it's just black again. We're really hitting those deep blacks while maintaining the brightness of the film. It just looks incredible, in my opinion. You see every detail on Russell Crowe's, his beard, or Ryan Gosling's face, his sweaty face because he's a drinker. His hair is kind of a mess, it's got the stuff in it. You can just see every single detail, but it's the colors, man. Just look at the bowling alley scene. The walls are purple with pinks and greens on it. It might have not stuck out to you on the previous released Blu-ray, but that's going to stick out to you on this 4K Blu-ray, I'm telling you. And later in the scene when they go to that party, the big party in the Hollywood Hills, again, beautiful bright lights, just stunning in 4K Blu-ray. Everything about this 4K Blu-ray when it comes to the visuals are absolutely stunning. Again, can't compare it to the Warner Brothers 4K Blu-ray. I would like to see that just to see if that's even close to as good as the second sight 4K. I can't imagine it is. This is definitely the definitive edition of The Nice Guys. If you're a fan of The Nice Guys, this movie has gained a cult following over time. I'm hoping a 4K Blu-ray review like this or a 4K Blu-ray release like this, leads to more people seeing The Nice Guys, because this is one I felt like shouldn't have been overlooked. This is a great film, and Second Sight went all out on this 4K Blu-ray. Nice to see them giving us a comedy, even though this isn't a straightforward comedy. It's an action comedy noir film. Still, got some big laughs out of me. There's some big laugh moments in here, and I can highly recommend the Second Sight 4K Blu-ray. Whether you go with the standard edition that I got here, can't say how good that collector's edition is, but it is Second Sight, so if you have any of their other collector's editions, I can imagine it's probably great. But if I was going to give this edition that I have right here a score of 1 to 10, I'm going to give The Nice Guys on 4K Blu-ray a very, very solid 9.5 out of 10. I can highly recommend this one. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. We also have channel memberships, guys, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, get your videos a little bit earlier before they're released, you can do that. Become a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo and Ben Rondo, and you can be included in all of our giveaways, or you can even become a channel director like Uncle V, Nicholas Head, Kevin Kruger, and Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, and be included in our director's reviews as well. And then, of course, if you become a channel bankroll member like Mr. Smelly Potato, you can get included in everything else, and also have your choice review every other month here on the channel. You can check out all the perks in the description below. But of course, guys, if you got no money to throw away, don't worry about it at all. I just hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.